All right, let's dive into a question that sounds so simple you've probably wondered about it since you were a kid. Why is space black? It seems obvious, right? But believe me, this seemingly simple question has a history that's puzzled scientists for centuries, and the answer is going to take us right to the edge of everything we know about the universe.
I mean, really, think about it for a second. We know there are just trillions and trillions of stars out there. I'm not exaggerating. So with all those suns, in every direction you could possibly look, why isn't our night sky just a blazing, brilliant wall of white light?
Because the easy answer, the one you're probably thinking of right now, is only the first tiny piece of the puzzle. The real answer, wow, it gets into some of the most profound truths about our universe, from its explosive beginning to its constant, incredible expansion. It's a genuine cosmic mystery, and all the clues are hiding right there in the darkness.
Okay, so let's start with clue number one. This is the obvious one, the answer that just makes intuitive sense. And you know what? It's not wrong, it's just incomplete. The first reason space is black is simply because it's so incredibly empty.
And this comparison here just nails it. Here on Earth, our sky is a beautiful blue. Because our atmosphere is literally packed with tiny particles of gas and dust, they act like a giant cosmic disco ball, scattering sunlight in every direction. That's what makes the whole sky glow. But out in space, it's a near-perfect vacuum. There's basically nothing for light to bounce off of.
So, here's the deal. Out in the vacuum of space, light just travels in a perfectly straight line. It's on a mission. So, unless you are looking directly at a star, the light from that star is just going to zip right past you, totally unseen. The space in between the stars doesn't light up. So, okay, that explains the black patches, but it doesn't explain why all the starlight in the universe doesn't just fill in all those gaps. And that, my friends, is where this gets really interesting.
See, because if the universe was truly infinite and stuffed full of stars, then all that empty space shouldn't really matter. The night sky should be a blinding sheet of light. This massive contradiction is known as Olbers' paradox, and for centuries, it was a real head-scratcher for astronomers.
Exactly. What about all the stars? We're not talking about a few celestial streetlights. Our Milky Way galaxy alone has hundreds of billions of stars, and astronomers estimate there are maybe 2 trillion galaxies in the part of the universe we can see. I mean, the numbers are just, you can't even wrap your head around them. So why doesn't all that light just overlap until every single speck of the sky is filled?
And that is the core of what's called Olbers' paradox. It basically argues that if the universe was infinitely large, infinitely old, and wasn't really changing, then no matter where you looked, your gaze should eventually land on the surface of a star. The sky shouldn't just be lit up, it should be as bright as the surface of our own sun. So why isn't it?
Yeah, this quote just hits the nail on the head. Imagine you're standing in a forest that goes on forever. No matter which way you turn, your view is eventually going to be blocked by a tree, right? The paradox says the same should be true for stars. So the simple fact that we can see any blackness at all tells us something absolutely fundamental must be wrong with those basic assumptions, that the universe is infinite, eternal, and static.
So, how do we solve this thing? Well, it all comes down to 2 groundbreaking discoveries of modern cosmology. And these ideas didn't just explain why the sky is dark, they completely blew up our entire understanding of the cosmos. Turns out, the universe is a much stranger and more amazing place than we ever thought.
And here they are, the 2 big solutions. First, the universe isn't infinitely old. It had a beginning. And second, the universe isn't static. It's expanding all the time. These 2 facts just completely change the game and give us the dark night sky we see every night.
This number is pretty much everything. 13.8 billion years. That's how old our universe is. That's the amount of time that's passed since the Big Bang. And because the universe has a finite age, it means we can only ever see a finite piece of it.
This is such a cool concept to think about. Light travels incredibly fast, but not infinitely fast. So there's a kind of cosmic horizon around us. We can only see the light from stars and galaxies if that light has had enough time to travel across space and reach us. And that time limit is 13.8 billion years. Light from anything further away? It's still on its way. It just hasn't gotten here yet. The sky is dark because most of the universe is still invisible to us.
Okay, but that's only half the story. The second piece of the puzzle is just as mind-bending, and it has to do with the fact that the universe is expanding. As faraway galaxies are rushing away from us, the very light waves they're sending out get stretched. You've experienced this with sound. Think of an ambulance siren. As it races away, the pitch drops, right? The sound waves are getting stretched out. Well, the exact same thing happens to light. We call it redshift.
All right, let's walk through this step by step, because this is where it all clicks. The most distant galaxies are flying away from us at incredible speeds. This motion literally stretches the light they're putting out, and it stretches it so much that what started out as visible light, colors our eyes can see, gets stretched into invisible infrared light or even microwaves. So even when that ancient light finally gets to us, our eyes can't register it. To us, it just looks black.
So when you put it all together, what are we really looking at when we gaze up at the night sky? That darkness, it isn't nothing. It's not an absence. It's actually the presence of evidence. It's the physical proof of the Big Bang and the constant expansion of our universe, written in giant letters across the entire cosmos.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. The 3 big reasons space is black. 1, it's a vacuum, so there's nothing to scatter the starlight. 2, the universe has a birthday. It's only 13.8 billion years old, so the light from the most distant stars just hasn't gotten here yet. And 3, the universe is expanding, which stretches the light from the farthest galaxies into wavelengths our eyes literally cannot see.
I just love this idea. It totally reframes how you think about it, right? The blackness isn't a void. It's the history of the cosmos. It's the proof that our universe had a beginning and is still growing. That darkness represents all the light from countless galaxies that are still on their epic journey across billions of years just to reach us.
So the next time you look up at the night sky, don't just see empty space between the stars. See the evidence. See the missing time. See the light that's been traveling since the dawn of the universe on its way to you. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What amazing things will that light finally show us when it gets here?